Good evening, everybody. How are we? Hope we're well. So lovely to be back with you again. Let me know if, as always, you can hear properly and see and all the things you need to do so we can enjoy each other's company this evening. I'm going to be showing you all sorts of goodies tonight. Real treats. We're doing our bundle bonanza. I haven't done one for a while, so this is lovely to come back to one of these really special treats. So we'll be having a look at that. Oh, hello! Do you know it's really strange when you first go live and suddenly everybody jumps in? It's almost like there's a delay. So hi Kim, hi Bethan, hi Sarah. Lovely to have you with us. Honestly, it really is lovely to know that you're out there and you're keeping up with us. Hi Sheila. We've such a lot happening at the moment and it's all good, all very exciting stuff. Hi Jamie, hope you got there safely and you can relax this evening hopefully, although knowing you, you won't. Hi Kath, you're right. Yeah, so bundle bonanza, a special treat for you all. Hello Diane, hope you're okay. Hi Debbie. Oh, it's lovely. Do you know what's nice as well? Some of the names are becoming familiar. I know I don't see the faces, um, but it's lovely to see you keep coming back and joining us and sharing in what we're up to. Hi Kim. So yeah, that is lovely, and thank you all so much. Oh, good, Jamie, you've landed. That's always good. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all well. It's a bit cold here tonight. There's been a change. There's definite change. Hi, Hayley. You all right, sweetheart? No, you've been a busy bee, haven't you? Hi, Rosie. Yeah, it's definitely a change in the air tonight. It's definitely got that nip. It's cooling off, isn't it? And it's dark already, and all those wintry autumnal things that are happening. But I love it. I love every season. I think there's something in all of them that's just beautiful, so can't complain. Hi, Sue. Good to see you again. All right, so let's just have a catch up with a little bit of news. No gossip, I'm afraid. We don't do gossip. Maybe a few sneakies for you tonight, but Jamie's watching, so I've got to be careful. Don't want them giving me a star chart, do I? Mine will be full in no time. It is cold, isn't it? Yeah, I'm a bit chilly. Any road, let's get active and then we'll be fine. So, I don't know if you've gathered, but Jamie's off on his travels at the moment. He's gone up to Redditch. Hi Pam. He's on Hobbymaker tomorrow, so hope you've got that date in your diaries. 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, Jamie will be bringing you a brand new collection. We've had a sneaky peek. You are very lucky people because you get to see it before you really should. But you know, why not? So yeah, he's going to be at Hobbymaker. He's there, ready and raring to go in the morning. So wish you well with the shows, Jamie. Can't promise I'll be watching because I'll be driving down the M6 on my way to Aldershot in time for my demo day on Saturday. So we're all on the move. We'll probably pass each other. How's your homework going? Have you done it yet? Are you going to be in detention? No, we don't do that. We love to set you a little challenge. We call it homework just for a bit of fun. And the current homework is #pink. So in the pink, all the things pink. It could be as sparkly, as girly, or it could be a subdued, dusky, vintage rose. Who knows? But all the things pink. It can be any sort of project. It did have to include a musical element, if I remember rightly. So that's ongoing until 5 o'clock on this coming Monday, and then the new one will start, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. Hi Catherine. But tonight I'm going to be having a look at my latest bundle bonanza. So this is a group of dies we've put together especially for the stockists to buy at a very special price that they can pass on to you. So track down your local stockists and have a look to see if they've got them. They are superb value, and the one I've got for you tonight is actually quite very recent. It was only last year. It's a beautiful collection of floral dies from Sue Wilson, and Kim, you and me both. I leave everything to the last minute. I'm shocking. Anyway, let's have a look at this fabulous bundle. All right, let's just swap over to my overhead camera. So here we are. Beautiful dies from our lovely Sue. And looking at this range of florals, it's almost 4 seasons. I think we've got spring, summer, autumn and winter in this whole collection. But of course you can make them fit whatever you want to make them fit. So we've got 4 floral cover plates or frames and tags. They all work in the same way. They cut in a single pass through the machine. The frame is integral, so you get the frame and the pattern all cut at the same time, and then it's up to you what you do with it. So you can decorate this to your heart's content, you can paper piece, you can do a fancy background, you can layer elements of it. You can cut them into a different shape. I think these would lend themselves beautifully to having an oval cut from it as well, so you can change these up. I think they're gorgeous. Absolutely love these. And this is actually the first time I've had a chance to play with these, so I'm really happy about that. So let's go through these one by one, and I'll tell you the bundle price, and then I'll tell you the amazing savings that you can make and where you can get these from. Because we have our stockists who are on board and they're joining in with all these. Alison, go away. That's just rude. She's finished all her Christmas cards. I mean, I haven't even thought about my personal Christmas. Let's not go there. Okay, so frames and tags, Wild Daisy cover plate. Now, when these first came out, they were part of a collection which featured pop-up dies as well, and lots of independent floral dies. Excuse me, and things like that. So they don't need to be used like that. They stand alone as a beautiful front to a card. Or a picture to frame, or even a photograph frame with a bit of snipping. You could work with this one. This one in particular I love because it's got this double. It's almost got a double frame. Well, it has got a double frame around it, and then you've got these daisies, floral elements, which are really cute. And these are, let me see, just over 5 inches by just under 4 inches. So quite a nice small size. As I say, all one die, and these will all cut at the same time when you pop them through the machine. So let's have a look at some inspiration with our beautiful daisies. So we've got some lovely samples from RDT and from Sue herself. So we're very fortunate. So this one is done just to the size really of that cover plate, so you get a better idea of the size of it. It's then matted and layered a couple of times, and this particular one is on the pop-up die. So these dies gave you the mechanism to do these beautiful pop-up scenes inside the cards. So these may well be out there at your stockists as well. So I'll let you off, Alison. I'm just yeah, you're putting us all to shame. You are. I'm just jealous. So these pop-up dies, if you go along to your stockist and they've got these, maybe ask, have you by any chance got these as well? Because it made making pop-up interiors really, really easy. So there's the first one. This one's been paper pieced with beautiful bright colours and glitter run through the background. So your double-sided adhesive's going to come in here. And then I love as well that the frame has been picked out in gloss black. Can you see that? So when you cut this, it will have openings through that double frame, that double edge, and then you can pop a different colour back in there, or some glitter or some gilding flake or something like that. Oh, Jamie is saying that they have them available for the stockists as well. So they are still around, they are still available. You need to go and knock on your stockist door and say, "Oi, Gwen says." All right. This one I absolutely love. I've got a feeling this might be Diane. Yes, it is. Super vibrant colours, lots of detail, hand-drawn dotting. She's cut the centre out. She's raised the whole panel, kept it with its pieces in there in black, and done the outline in these vibrant colours. Isn't that just so different? And that's what I love about dies like this, where you can put your own spin on it, you can put your own paper piece in, you can put your own background, you can change the shape, you can do all those things, and that's what's really super. Even though it's quite a simple die, in the fact that it's just one, you can still do loads with it. So this one, we've got, I'm guessing, mica powder and gilding flake on a double-sided adhesive sheet. The panel's been cut in a navy blue, and then the piecing done. Isn't that stunning? So different again. And then here's another small one. I think this is probably by Sue, looking at the style of it. Again, picking out that border with the black gloss. Love that. We've got some beautiful crystal glitter in the background and a little bit of shading on those daisies. Doesn't it make them pop? It's really super. And then here's another one. This one has got more elements from some of the pop-up die sets that came with these. So the little bird and the branch. This one's been decoupaged, so with a couple of flowers that have been snipped out and raised to just change the way it looks. I think that's gorgeous. And again, a stunning interior with the bird and the nest and all that. And have a beautiful day. I love that. And all these elements cut from that one frame. So even if you just wanted a flower for another card, you know, these are great for that. And you could stack these and raise the flowers and lift the petals and all those things. So that's another gorgeous one. And then we've got one here which is super different again. Turned the other way up, and why not? And then it's got glitter over the whole of everything. So I think it's been coloured first, and then a piece of double-sided adhesive put across it all, glittered, and then the outline put on, cut a second time and put on top. I am guessing, I haven't made these, so I don't know, but I think that's what's happened. So sometimes you might like to use things like glass paint or crystal tints or things like that, and they can get a bit messy when you're colouring them in. So the best way to sort that out is to put another panel on top, and that just cleans everything up and makes it all crisp again. So that's a really simple way of doing it. And I love this one. This has been expanded into a much bigger card using one of Sue's lovely rectangular dies. I'm actually going to be, funnily enough, looking at this one tonight. So super fine glitter here in the background. Again, pieced through that frame with some satin cardstock. Quite subdued colours, but I really like it. And we have a gorgeous pop-up scene in the middle with little butterflies and another floral scene. As I say, you don't have to use these with a pop-up at all. It's just a beautiful front on the card. But that's what they came out with at the time last year when they were released. So I'm just letting you know about that. And here's an absolutely gorgeous one from Sue. Lots of colouring, shading. I think she uses alcohol markers to do her colouring, so she can achieve that lovely shading. And the butterfly is gorgeous as well. And a really lovely sentiment, sending a happy hello. I love that. And a signature pierced edge all the way round. Very elegant, very beautiful. So that is our lovely Daisy, Wild Daisy. My mum's name was Daisy, so I always have a soft spot for daisies. Yeah. Alright, let's have a look at the next one, which is going to be our magnolia. Again, a beautiful tree with elegant blossoms. They come in lots of different colours. Again, a smallish card front. You don't have to be going huge with these. And again, we've got the pop-up mechanism inside here with floral elements and birds. But just look at the front, because that's what you're getting in this bundle, is the fronts. So again, paper lend themselves to paper piecing these, absolutely. A lovely bit of shading and colour in here, giving us a blue magnolia. I think that's gorgeous. And then a similar one, but done this time in the pink. More traditional colour, I think, isn't it, for magnolia? And a bit of greenery. Yeah, so all good. I love the black outline with that, and then the paler colours with that. That's quite graphic, isn't it? And here's another pretty one with the background done in Enchanted Sprinkles. And then the outline cut twice, and we have a drop shadow, oops, on that. So there's a slightly peachy pink behind, and then the cream on the top, and that gives it real depth. It gives it a gorgeous sort of dimension to it. And then a torn paper with a lovely sentiment across the front of that as well. And this one's lovely. This is by our lovely Christine, and she always manages to pick out something different. So she's picked out an oval here and coloured that and used it as a spotlight over the rest of it, which has stayed white. And she's just pieced the pieces back in as they came. Well, if you get it out of the die all in one piece, then you have no need to put them all back in. But if they do pop out, you just pop them back in, and yeah, it's really easy to do. And I'm going to do quite a bit of paper piecing for you tonight, so that's where I'm headed. And here's another one with a beautiful shimmering mica background and some lovely colour in there in the magnolias. There's so much you can do with these, and you can have them obviously anyway. You know, they work in different orientations, so you're not restricted by that either, which is always good. Here's a lovely one from Sue herself in a very pale blue. I love this. The colours are just gorgeous. Icy blue, a nice dark forest green, and crystal glitter all over the background. Just beautiful. And you can still, even though quite small cards, you can still do a lot with these by the techniques you use. So I love this one as well. And what's happened here, we've got the pinks being coloured with, I think, alcohol markers, the background with glitter, and then the same glitter here. Now if you put a clear crystal glitter over coloured card, you'll see the colour of the card, and that's what Sue's done here. So you get your pink card, you cover it with a sheet of double-sided adhesive, and you put your glitter on, and it will take on the colour of the card underneath. So that's a fantastic way to coordinate your project and make sure everything matches. I love doing that. That's a fabulous technique. So that's our beautiful magnolia, and that's the second of 4 in this fabulous bundle. Now we're going to have a look at the wild rose. Again, a similar principle, but a different flower and a different layout, and lending itself to different colours. So here's our wild rose. Isn't it beautiful? A lovely bit of colouring going on there. And here's quite a funky modern one, which, you know, is great to show that you can ring the changes like that. And this one's had a second layer added on top, so it's raised, it's got good depth to it. I love this one as well. This is really lovely. Very pop arty with the black and then the primary colours, isn't it? So picking out those roses in different colours. It doesn't have to be a rose, does it? It could be poppies, it could be anything. I think that if you did that in black and all the flowers in red, it would definitely look like a poppy. And another little dinky card. I love this. These are like an American A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And it's a lovely size. I really like this size. It's slightly wider for sparkling gems. So, you know, you can go simple, you can go as fancy as you like, and that's always good when you have a product that you can do lots of things with, isn't it? And this one, we've got a lovely inked background, blended background, a little bit of water splashing going on, some beautiful crystal raindrops, and then we've got our lovely outline. And here's another one done on satin cardstock. There's a lovely background. We've got some embossed flowers here, so heat embossed with a beautiful embossing powder. That's another idea, isn't it? That's lovely. And then again, the outline just laid on top, quite simple. This one's beautiful in a dark gold cardstock over an inky background. A little bit of glitter added to the centres, and then some beautiful layers to pick out the colours in the ink. So these are really, really quick. If you need quick and easy cards, if you want to do a box of notelets, you could easily do a set of 4 notelets with one each of these designs. So that would be fab, wouldn't it? Here's another one with some beautiful painting going on, random dotting of crystals and things. So again, really lovely. This one's got I think these might be pixie powders, but you could use your enchanted sprinkles to do this. It's certainly a mica powder background, and then the graphic black outline over the edge of that. And I love the way it's been matted with a slightly larger mat and then a big black mat, because it looks like it's got a frame around it, but it hasn't. It's all matted on top, so that's really cool. And this one's showing how you can expand on this design easily to make a bigger card should you wish. And we have again excuse me, an inky background, and I think this has been done with cling film with some gold ink, and then you scrunch up your cling film and leave it to dry, and you get these lovely crinkles in the ink. And then we've got all these beautiful daisies that have been cut and matted and layered and stacked to make that really special. Now this one is super, isn't it? So we've got black gloss, we've got pink flowers with a gold outline. This is lovely. I never think to use black gloss card. I really should, because it's gorgeous. Look at that shine on that, and it's really such a strong black as well. I know that sounds mad, but you know what I mean. It's properly black, cool black. Yeah, striking. And then we've got some beautiful nesting dies. We've got some black glitter paper here. Absolutely stunning. Love that. And then another one completely different and upside down. Whoops. With a bit of a stamped background here, with a little flourishy stamp. Gorgeous purple roses, and they do look like anemones a little bit. Somebody mentioned anemones in the comment, and they could be anemones. They could be whatever you want them to be. And actually that one there looks like a petunia, this one up the top. So, you know, you can suggest to people's brains what they are. So that's excuse me, that's the wild rose, and that's the third one in our set of 4. And the last one is the amazing poinsettia, and this is what I think of as the winter one. Again from Sue, beautiful colouring, sparkle everywhere, just gorgeous. And again, the colouring's been done on the white cardstock, and then the double-sided adhesive put over the top, glitter over the whole lot, so it's not as complicated as it might look, and then the black outline to separate everything. Isn't that beautiful? This one all in pink. You do get pink poinsettias, don't you? And we've got a lovely pop-up here with the Christmas village scene. So I think that if you can track this down and make your Christmas cards like that, that's a wow, isn't it? So we've got these gorgeous pink poinsettias. We've got some silver, very fine silver cardstock, silver sparkle in the background there, and it's all been paper pieced and then coloured. And the same silver has been used, so it's the positives and the negatives here. So the silver in the flowers here is what's been taken out of here, and the background here is what's been replaced here. So if you do this sort of technique, you'll get 2 for 1, which is always good, having a bonus, isn't it? Just a little bit of yellow colouring for the details, and the wordy sentiments lend themselves really well to these, don't they? Just a quick sentiment across the middle. And look at this. This is a real work of art, isn't it? If you want to go big and bold, you certainly can. We've got that beautiful panel, gorgeously coloured, black, red and green, a little bit of gold, and this fabulous Happy Christmas. Sue did a lot of these big sentiments to be a real statement piece, and I love these. I really did like these. They can still go on the inside of the card if you want to, but they really can make a statement on the front. So I think that's lovely. And then we go to something completely different, and it's just the colours. We've got gorgeous red, green, but then we've got a gold and a green background, which is quite a limey green, which really lifts it, doesn't it? And then we've got a subtle grey linen going through the background here. I think that's absolutely stunning, and just the only sparkle really is in the centre of the flowers there. Oh, excuse me, I'm losing my voice again. And then we've got a really muted one here, white gloss card this time. Again, not something I ever reach for, but I might start using it because I've got loads of it. So white gloss cardstock for the poinsettias, satin gold for the leaves and the centres and the pods, and then that beautiful fine silver sparkle on the background. Isn't that lovely? May your days be merry and bright, and I sincerely hope they are. So that's the poinsettia. Alright, so going back to our 4 beautiful die sets that will cover all seasons, all occasions, all eventualities. We have a fabulous price for you on these. So if you were to buy these full whack, they would be costing you £55.96, which is a chunk. But because we're doing them as a bundle and we want to give you a treat, we are letting you have these for £39.99. That is a saving of almost £16, which is basically one of these for nothing. In fact, more than one. So, well worth having a look for these. Get onto your stockists, ask them if they have them. We can let you know that the stockists who have bought these bundles and have already got them available are Into Craft, Affordable Crafting and Craft Mania. There may well be others out there who have them because, as I say, these were only released last year, so they may still be in some of your other stockists as well. So have a look and track those down, but that's a phenomenal saving. And even if you're thinking, well, I don't really want all 4, think about Christmas presents for your crafty mates. I mean, for that price, for a Secret Santa, 10 quid, just under 10 quid. Quite often a Secret Santa, they ask you to spend a tenner, don't they? So one of these, 10 quid, made up. Isn't that fabulous? So there we are. That's our bundle bonanza for this week and for this month, actually. We'll do these once a month, permitting, when we can sort stuff out for you. And then, oh, my lights are going funny. Yeah, always worth keeping an eye out for these. So there we are. That's our beautiful bundle for this month. So, what else can I tell you? Well, right now, I'm going to give you some dates, and we're going to talk homework, and then we'll get on and we'll have a bit more, well, I'm going to be a bit naughty because I want to join in and be naughty. I never get to be naughty. Well, not in public. Well, that sounded terrible. You know what I mean. Alright, so as I said, Jamie is going to be on Hobby Maker tomorrow at 2 and 6. I can't watch. How rude. I'm going to have to catch up later. Honestly. I'll be zapping down the M6 on my way to Aldershot and doing a demo day on Saturday, so that's where I'm going. That's very exciting, and that's 10 till 3. for the Art of Craft. So if the Art of Craft is your local stockist, I look forward to meeting you on Saturday. I can't wait. I've got so much to bring with me and show you. I probably need to come back on Sunday as well, and I'd love to, but rein it in, Gwen. Rein it in. All right, so Monday, Jamie will be back at 7 o'clock doing his Monday night natter. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but it's always very interesting, it's always very exciting, and it's always worth checking out. So 7 o'clock here on Creative Expressions with Jamie. And then me next week on Thursday. Ooh, I've got a doozy. For the first time, I'm going to get to play with the Cogs collection. I love grungy stuff, and I love mechanical, coggy, steampunky stuff like that. So for me to be able to have a play with this collection is really great fun. So that's me next Thursday. And homework. All right, so the current homework we said was #pink. Yes, Cogs, Jasmine, I know. Can't wait. They've been sitting looking at me, and I've had to leave them alone because I've had other stuff to do. It's driving me nuts. All right, so the current homework is #pink, all things pink. That homework will finish at 5 o'clock on Monday, and Jamie will announce the winner on Monday Nights Live. He will also kick off the following week's homework, so that's going to run from the 13th to the 20th. So one finishes at 5 p.m, the next one starts at 5 p.m. We're trying to give you advance notice so that you have a bit more time to get your heads in gear and get creative. Please do enter. We love to see what you're making, and you're also talented, and it's so lovely to see a different person's take on things. We can sit here making our stuff all the time, but we love to see what you're all up to as well. So please do join in. It's a bit of fun. We don't judge on talent, experience, or anything like that. We just love to see what your creative brains come up with. So if you'd like to post your makes on the Creative Expressions official page, the group, and mark it as whatever, this week's #pink, and then everybody who enters will go into a draw to win £40 worth of goodies. I mean, that's not to be sniffed at, is it? £40, that's a lot of money. So please do have a go. Jasmine, give me a minute. I'm getting there. She's keen, I love it. So after the pink, your next homework is #miles. #miles, all about travel and transport. Now we know Jamie's got a fabulous vintage travel collection. Maybe that's where you want to go. Maybe you've got some other ideas, I don't know. But what about the steampunk airship? That's travel and transport. That'll be amazing. So it can be any colour scheme. It does need to be DL in size, and you've got plenty of inspiration with the DL panels around at the moment. You've got the DL nesting panels to give you beautiful frames, so that might be somewhere to start. And we also are asking that it includes a product of buttons. These can be real buttons, they can be die cut buttons, they can be stamped buttons, but your creation must feature buttons. So theme, travel and transport, size DL, product to include is buttons, any colour scheme you like. Go for it, have fun and create something magical, and please share it with us so we can enjoy it as well. We'd love that. Alright, so I think that's all my news for tonight. I am going to just talk to you a little bit about our current collection. I don't want to say too much because obviously Jamie's on Hobby Maker tomorrow with the new release. I will be with it on Saturday as well at the Art of Craft. So I'm not going to spend a long time with it tonight. You've seen it already if you've kept up with us, but I just want to show you a few bits and pieces and then I'll do we'll get on and do a few demos. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you too long tonight. I've got a very busy day tomorrow. So let's have a look at this stunning new release. I think this is gorgeous. The first range that we had of this sold out very quickly, and we now have a new one. So let's move over and have a look at this. This is our linen textured paper. You might know by now I love to make mini books, and quite often I do use linen and cotton and burlap and stuff like that in my books. This is a game changer because I don't have to use actual fabric, but I get the feel, the texture and the look of the fabric without the weight and without the fraying of the fabric, because that's always something you have to sort out. So these are so textured, they really do feel and look like fabric. Absolutely gorgeous. And we have 7 stunning colours. So we've got this gorgeous, almost like a mocha, like a soft coffee. We also have this fantastic sort of sandy beige colour in the neutrals, and then we have this beautiful, it really is a linen colour, it's just a soft cream. Absolutely, I'm in love with these. Then we've got this fantastic rich deep red, perfect for your poinsettias, your Christmas, red roses, anything like that, all the romance. Fantastic, sort of olivey, sagey green, really lovely colour, that one. And then we've got a charcoal grey, which is just gorgeous. I love grey. And sometimes black's a little bit harsh, but this can offset all sorts of really bright colours. Remember the sample I showed you that had the grey background? This would work for that sort of thing, wouldn't it? Really stunning. And then a superb black, and it's again a proper black. The reason I keep going on about blacks is sometimes you get blacks that are quite blue, quite purple, quite grey, quite not black. Do you know what I mean? These die cut an absolute dream, and if you cut flowers from these, you can shape them. They hold the shape. Oh, honestly, it's absolutely wonderful stuff. You can stamp on it. You can ink over it, so you can take an ink pad and swipe it across the surface and it will bring up all that texture. You can run it through an embossing folder and it will still emboss, and that looks amazing too. So if you haven't tried any of the original crushed velvet paper that came out a few months ago, then do have a go at this. This is the linen, slightly different colour palette, but equally gorgeous and really worth having in your stash. So that's our new linen textured paper. A4 in size. It comes in packs of 10 sheets, I believe, of a colour. I don't know the price, I'm really sorry. If Jamie's still here with us, perhaps he could pop that in the comments for me, please. And I now just want to do a very quick review of the current new release, which is going to be launched on Hobbymaker tomorrow. Has Creative Expressions Foundation's got Black Pearl card? Not at the moment, but watch this space. I don't think we do we, Jamie? It's on the cards, excuse the pun. We're bringing back foundations gradually because there's such a lot of it. There's over 100 colours. We have got quite a lot of them that are back already, but we can't do it all in a day. So just keep your eye on things that are being released. We'll keep you up to date. Alright, so this new collection is another beautiful set of nesting DL dies, but this time with a Christmas theme. And it has stamps and it has elements. It is just gorgeous. So you have 3 DL stamp sets which coordinate with the dies, and you have the winter scenes, which is gorgeous with the cabin and the deer, the fireplace and all of those lovely things. You've got sentiments on all of these sets. Then you have the poinsettia, speaks for itself. You've got poinsettias on here, you've got sentiments, and then you've got this gorgeous sentiment set, because each of the panels features sentiments and little extra sentiments as well. So those are your 3 sets. Then we've also got in our DL collection beautiful Happy Christmas. This is a fantastic background stamp, and like all of Jamie's, can be expanded quite easily vertically or horizontally. But think about stamping it diagonally, or think about only partially stamping it. Maybe roll it around your hand and just roll it onto the card so that you just get little sections of it showing. So that's Happy Christmas in lots of different fonts, and you've got little elements, you've got little stars that you could pick out with gold sparkle. And also, if you've got the lines DL stamp, that is going to section these out for you beautifully, as well as it does with all of these line stamps. Okay, so there we are. Those are the stamp sets. They're going to retail at $11.99, but keep your eye on Hobbymaker tomorrow, where they're going to be available from. Then we also have 3 absolutely gorgeous new festive DL panels. I'm in love with these, can't tell you. So we've got poinsettia. This has got the lovely scrolly pattern, leafy pattern, and then we have the poinsettias dotted about that panel. Each of these comes with a plain outer edge, but don't forget, if you've got the nesting DLs, these are all going to coordinate absolutely perfectly, so you can add your own fancy edge. And if you've got the original DL everyday panels, they've got different edges, they've got a frame, each one has a different frame. They're going to fit with these as well. So lots of coordination, lots of mix and match possibilities with these. So that's your poinsettia. Then we've got the fabulous snowflake, an all over snowflake panel, superb detail. And again, these can be extended sideways, you can cut them twice, match up the sides, carry on, make a bigger panel quite easily. And again, it comes with a plain edge. So the inner panel, if you don't use an edge to it, will stay in the card as a filigree pattern. Okay. Then we've got the Holly DL, which is just beautiful. And this one and this one also, if you remember, has corners that came in the original festive collection 18 months ago. Same pattern of holly, same pattern of snowflakes, so you'll have corners that you can coordinate with this as well. I am doing a very brief resume, as I say, because Jamie's taking these on to Hobbymaker tomorrow, but I just wanted a quick refresher so that you know what you're looking for tomorrow, hopefully. This is absolutely gorgeous. It's a huge die set. It's an oval panel with a separate scallop frame and a filigree poinsettia design. Then in the middle you've got the tile and a tile pattern, which you can cut in and leave in the middle of the card, you know, with nothing around it. You can cut it with its edge to create a freestanding shape. You can cut the edge on its own to make an aperture. And then if you've ever looked at the original tile collection, you will have come across these, and you're going to need these if you want to make these work to your advantage. So these are going to complement all the stamps. They are all sized to fit these lovely tile designs, and then you can build your card, your scrapbook pages, you can do pictures, whatever it is you want to do with these. Now also in the original collection there were 3 8x8 stencils which also feature this lovely tile design. This is the largest, and then there's a smaller one and a very small one. Mine are in the sink being washed, sorry, so I couldn't show you. So these you can ink through, you can spray through, you can emboss through your machine, and you can also stamp into these apertures and create, you know, a grid pattern. Really versatile, and again everything coordinating and complementing beautifully. And I do believe that Jamie's going to have the original tile collection, or certainly some of it, on tomorrow's shows as well. So if you haven't got them, and certainly we'll be having these, have a look out tomorrow at the shows, because you'll be able to get your hands on those if you want them. There are also some beautiful poinsettias and these are stunning. Again, Jamie's signature style, all on one piece of metal. This is going to cut you 3 sizes, 2 of each size, all at the same time, so it's dead easy to cut lots and lots of these. And these I've been cutting from that red linen paper, and they look amazing, absolutely amazing. They hold the shape, you can shape them beautifully. It gives quite a crinkly texture, quite tactile, quite lovely. These are going to coordinate with, obviously, this. You've got your poinsettias here, you can layer them up on top of that. You can use the smaller one to go behind the opening in that, to give it a base if you want to. It's also going to coordinate with this. You can build your poinsettias up on here if you want to. And the other one, I've lost mine, but there's a circle. What's done with it? I don't know. Apologies. I've lost mine, but there's a beautiful circle design as well with the poinsettias around it, and these are going to fit on there as well. So again, a stunning collection. It gives you so much versatility when things coordinate like this that it's well worth investing where you can. So that's just a very brief catch up on that collection, and that's not everything. I haven't covered all of it, but keep an eye out for Jamie's shows, because he'll do it in great detail tomorrow. I'm sure he will fill you with oodles of inspiration. And I just have a few little examples to show you here. So this one is absolutely beautiful. We've got a gorgeous Enchanted Sprinkles over Silver Mirror card, I'm guessing. This is Diane. And then these are how those lovely little tiles can be utilised. So we've got the larger one here cut with another size to create a frame. And then we've got 3 of the little dinky ones. And again, Diane's beautiful, bright, vibrant colours. She always goes a little off-piste. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely stunning. So that's the snowflake background, the DL, and that's been cut with its own edge. So you can see it gives you quite a fine edge when you cut it with its own edge. And then Diane's teamed it up with the scalloped DL from the nesting set. This one's cut from that beautiful linen paper in the green and laid over the sand colour. Gemmed every little berry on that background with a gold gem. And then that lovely tile. It's so elegant, isn't it, this? That lovely tile, and then stamped on the smaller one and stacked together. So easy to do as well. And we'll be showing you this, Jamie tomorrow and myself on Saturday. We'll be showing you how easy these things are to achieve. Then we've got our poinsettia DL panel, and I love that this has been put on a larger card just to show that you don't have to always go DL just because the dies are DL. In fact, you can make these bigger, as we've said, by cutting twice, joining down the centre line, and you can have a much bigger panel. And then we've got those beautiful poinsettias. Now these have been cut from that linen paper. We've also got the ferns here, which are gorgeous for Christmas, and we've got a beautiful tile. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Isn't that lovely? And the background, this is lovely. This has been done with clear texture paste over gold mirror. I would imagine it's been put on with a brayer. And then we've got some glitter that's just been lightly sprinkled into that. It's just a hint here and there. It's just lovely. And that one is by our lovely Wendy. So thanks, Wendy. Then we've got one by Sharon, all in the whites. We do love our white cards. And this is featuring that stunning oval with poinsettias and all the filigrees. And we've got the tile, we've got the poinsettias, and we've also got some of the lavish foliage happening here. So all your old foliage or your original foliage dies will come in. And we've also got the beautiful poinsettia corners that come on this same set. You get 2 different corners on that set. Then this is the circle. This was the one I couldn't find my actual die for, which I'll have to find before tomorrow. But this is the circle. It's absolutely gorgeous. It has a fluted outside edge which is obviously going to team up with the nesting dies. Here we have it on an octagon. You team it up with the other circles, and you know, you've got your card on the way, haven't you? We've got the beautiful red linen paper underneath, and then we've got various sentiments, and we've got 2 of the little tiles here just to trim. Isn't that lovely? And I just love this one because it's just so classy, isn't it? This is from Lynn, gold and white, and we've got these beautiful tiles cut from gold mirror, and then this one's been stamped and heat embossed with a very soft gold sparkly powder. Beautiful. Then we've got a gold mirror background that's been embossed through an embossing folder. We've actually got one of Jamie's foiled inkables here, creating this lovely frame for it. And we've got some corners that have come from the Christmas kaleidoscope set, I think. Isn't that stunning? I just love that. So there you are, a little bit to wet your whistle and get you warmed up, ready for tomorrow's shows with our Jamie. Don't forget, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and Hobby Maker tomorrow, and you'll be able to get your hands on all these goodies. Right, shall we have a look at some of these from the Bundle Bonanza? I'm going to show you some inspiration now. I'm going to try, and I'm going to start with the poinsettia, and this is the cover plate. So this is the whole die, it's all in one. It will cut all of this, and then it's up to you where you want to take it from there. So I've made a start, and I've cut one in black, and I'm just going to show you how cleanly this cuts. And this is the Raven Black Elite cardstock. So it's 300 GSM, it's thick and heavy, and it's cut this without any bother. I'm just pushing these out with my fingers, look, it's that good. So you just pop all those bits out, and that will give you your outline to then decide what you're going to do with. You don't have to do the outline in black, I just chose to. You can do the outline in whatever colour, and then fill in the background, fill in the pieces, fill in the flowers, all differently. It's entirely up to you. That's the beauty of a die like this. You've got the centres here, but all these pieces that I'm popping out are what we would use to paper piece back in. So making like a jigsaw, if you like. So if you cut this in several colours, you will then have all the leaves, all the flower centres, all the berries, everything that you can pop back into a different outline and create your own design. So it's super, and it's easy to do, and it's fun. It takes a little while, but what's wrong with that? Nothing at all. It's not difficult, and it doesn't need a huge amount of skill or concentration, but you can take it to whatever level you like. And I am going to show you some fairly intricate techniques tonight, just for something a little bit different, but something that you might feel you'd like to have a go at. I don't know. You might think, no, that's not for me, and that's absolutely fine. We're all different, aren't we? We all like to do different things. But I do think sometimes it's nice to try something else that you might not normally try. Oh, there's one bit there I can't get out. There we are. You know, if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got, as they say. So try something different. Maybe try something in the homework. That would be lovely. And you could win a prize for doing that. That's amazing. Right, so I've got all the bits out, and look at that. It's beautiful. It's very clean. It's a good strong outline. And the pieces, if you look at the individual shapes, they're quite simple to fill back in. So let's make a start. I have here some double-sided adhesive. I've also got a piece that I've cut in red, and I cut another one in green, and I'll explain why I did all that in a mo. Just initially, I want to attach the double-sided adhesive to the back of this panel. So I'm going to take the backing paper off. I love this of Jamie's because it's got this little edge that you can get hold of, and you don't have to sit picking it, which is great for me. I'm doing my trick of putting the release paper face up, my cardstock face down, and then I can attack it from the back, and I'm not going to stick it to the table, and it just gives me more chance to get it on square. So not forgetting that I've got an edge at the top that isn't sticky. I've allowed for that. Make sure it's nice and smooth, you don't get wrinkles and bubbles. And then I like to make sure I've really firmed this down. Use my bone folder just to make sure, because if you're going to infill with something like glitter, say, if these little bits aren't stuck down properly, with pinging up, you'll get glitter underneath, and then they're never going to sit down. So just do that. And that's my outline, and I've got now a sticky surface, and I'm ready to go with that. So what I already started to do is piece in all of the offcuts that came from my die cuts. So I've got my red one here, and these are the bits that I still need to fit into my pattern. So if I show you where I'm up to with this one, I've pieced in the green linen paper for the leaves, hence why I cut another whole panel in green. But you've got all the other bits, so you've got the option to do 3 of these if you mix and match your colours. I've used the red linen paper to cut another one, and I've pieced in the poinsettias and the little seed pods, and I've left the centres of the flowers open because I want to do those with gold glitter, and the background I'm going to also do with white glitter. So I've left that, I've not put the pieces back in there, so this is still the sticky sheet. So all you need to do to paper piece when you're using double-sided adhesive, if the pieces do stay in the die, it's a bonus, because you can just then get the one you want and pop it in the right space, and that's it, done. So it is quick. Sometimes they might be a little tricky, they can move around a little bit, and you might just need to, I get that so I don't stick my hand to it, just, you can wriggle it around a little bit and get it right in place, and then I like to burnish it down so it's stuck really well. But don't do that until you're absolutely sure it's in the right place. Then we can move on and get the next petal, and we can piece that in as well, and off you go, and you'll get a bit of a rhythm going. You'll do this quite quickly. If you don't like to sit and do the same job for too long, just do a little bit and come back to it later. No reason why you can't just leave it, but don't leave it near the cat, who can sit on it and get the hair stuck to it, because they will, won't the cats do that? My little cat, if I'm trying to read, she has to get between me and my book. She has to let me know that she's the most important thing in the world, and I have to pay her attention. I think it's just a cat thing. They just like to be there, don't they? And hello, this is me, pay me some attention. They are funny. So I didn't get that one quite straight, so I can just wiggle it a little bit, move it and get it in, and then just burnish it down with a ball tool or something like that. But you can see how quickly this comes together. It's really lovely, and it's quite relaxing as well. It is a bit like doing a jigsaw, but it's like all those little like crystal art and dotting dies and things like that. It's quite relaxing, and you can lose yourself for quite some time. And if you have cut these into 3 different colours, you could be doing 3 at the same time and just interchange your different colours, your different pieces. So I'm going to show you another way to do this now. I'm just going to get rid of those because those are leaves and I don't need them in red. And then I'm going to also get rid of the centres of these, and I'm going to show you how I sometimes paper piece if I've got a lot of very intricate pieces and I can manage to keep it in the die. Sometimes if you lightly mist your paper before you die cut it, it helps it to stay in the die, so then you can do this process much more easily. So I'm going to place this directly over the matching design. And then I'm going to take my pointer tool and I'm going to push these pieces through into the open area underneath, and they should, as long as they've come loose, go straight into place. Now that speeds up the process quite a lot and it's very satisfying, and if you've got really tiny pieces, that's a great way to keep control of them and not lose them and do it much more quickly. I call this speed piecing. It's great fun. So the only problem comes when you get a bit that hasn't quite cut through and then it won't let go, but you can work around that. You either go back and release it or you just release it while it's in situ. I've got this one here that's been really awkward. There's only one, isn't there? There we go. So now I've got all my little petals in shape. They might just need a little tweak just to sit them in properly, and then give them a good old rub over with that. Alright, so I've still got my red outline and I've still got all my black leaves. Not that I particularly want to do a black poinsettia, I don't think, but you get the idea. So here we are. So now all the details done. The leaves I've already done, the poinsettias are now done. The centres I can now get into with my gold glitter, and then I can do my background. So that's what I'm going to do next. Let me just tidy up a bit. I'm getting disappearing behind loads of tools. So let me bring in some paper. If you are going to use glitter to do backgrounds on things like this, I would always recommend you start with your darkest colour first and finish up with the white, because if you put the white down first it will get contaminated by the other colours, but the other colours aren't going to be contaminated by white, or at least hopefully not. So that's just my method. So I'm going to put the gold in the middle of the flower. I'm just going to do one at a time, and this is so that I can keep a bit better eye on what's happening. I don't want it to get in my background. So I'm going to press that in and give it a little rub, and then I need to tip it off without it going across the rest of the design. So it's a case of flipping it over very quickly, not letting it slide off. There we are. And then don't worry about cleaning up at this point. Alright, so I'm going into this one. Isn't that lovely? And then into this one. Just give it a little press. And then, so I don't want it to end up in these areas here. So I'm just going to quickly flip. And it's missed those, it hasn't gone into those. So that's my flower centres done. I'm using these little funnels for my glitter. It's great fun. Get them back in the jar. Okay, so that's the gold bit done. Now I'm going to fill in the white. So I need to get rid of any loose gold that's on there. So I'm going to turn it over and give it a real good whack. There we go. Get rid of any stray specks. I don't want them ending up in me white. Yes, that would look lovely, Hayley. It really would. Let me see it when you've done it. I'm not falling for that one again. Oh, you could do this and oh, you could do that. Do you know how long it took me to finish all those things last week? Oh, a long time. Hey, but some of them turned out lovely. I might show you them someday. I'm certainly going to be showing them on Saturday. So now I can go in with the white. With little tiny bits. Try not to miss any. Oops, come on. I tend to work in sections and just keep it as clean as I can. and then turn it. Once you've got most of it, you know, the other bits filled in, it's not as hazardous. But this glitter is beautiful for wintry frosty things because it's not super sparkly, it's more glistening, if that makes sense. It glistens like snow does. It's just, I love it. And then we've got this big panel here that we can fill up last of all. And there we are, a completed panel, no longer sticky. We've got sparkle in the background, we've got sparkle in the centres of the poinsettias, and then we've got this beautiful linen texture running through the poinsettias. I absolutely love that paper, it's gorgeous. Just clean up and we're done. And we're ready to carry on with our card. So I know I had some of that already done, but it didn't take me that long, and it's really lovely to do. Oops, that didn't work, did it? Oh dear, they're the right pickle. Okay, just get rid of that. Put it out of the way. There we go. Right, so what are we going to do with it now? Well, I happen to know that I'm going to have a special die with me on Saturday that's going to be available to people who are going to the Art of Craft. And it's this one. You might already have this. If you have, you're a winner. This is a beautiful nesting die. There are 6 dies in it, and every single one of them punches a row of holes around the edge when it cuts. And I just thought this lent itself really well to nesting this poinsettia panel. So that's what I decided to do. So this is the first naughtiness I'm doing. I'm showing you sneaky peeks. Now which way do I want my poinsettias? I don't really know. I don't think it really matters. But anyway, I've cut my panel, and this is the largest of the sizes, and that fits perfectly on there, doesn't it? How lovely is that? And then I found that once I'd got it on there, because this is an American size, so this is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 type card, it didn't fit with Jamie's nesting rectangles, which are more suited to UK sizes. So after I'd done this, I thought, oh, well, hang on a minute, because that's now elongated the rectangle. I wonder if it will fit Jamie's rectangles. What do you think? It absolutely did. So, back to our gorgeous red linen paper. Let's pop on our flute-ended rectangle. That's not what it's called. What's it called? Scalloped end rectangle. We've got our lovely poinsettia panel, and I started dotting with crystals, and I nearly got carried away. I was going to dot the whole thing, and I just thought, no, stop, Gwen, you've done enough, stop. So I've only crystalled the corners and the end of the scallops. I might do a bit more yet, I haven't decided, but that's the beauty, isn't it? You can go back and think again. So this was cut with the plain rectangle, and I know you might think, well, it's all right. Why do I need a die to cut a plain rectangle? Well, you don't. You can cut it on a guillotine if you can measure and you can get your edges straight and all of that. But what I love about using a nesting die is that it finishes the edges. You get a little bevel on the edges and the corners, and it just looks much more professional. It's not got that raw cut edge, and that's why I love it. But also, you don't have to measure and cut and try and do it wrong and do it again, and you know, it just cuts it the right size, and there you go, you've done it. So that's why I love plain nesting dies, as well as all the other reasons for cutting frames and all that sort of thing. Then I chose the scalloped and pierced set. Now it's coming together, isn't it, as a card, and we're now back to Jamie's nesting dies, and we've got that scalloped end rectangle, and we've got our poinsettia panel, which at first glance didn't seem to work at all together, but it does, and I'm loving it. And then I needed a little bit of gold just to keep with the Christmas and to bring out the centres of the flowers. And then we're going onto a white base card with just a small margin. And then you can decide whether you're going to lift any of these panels up on foam tape, give it more dimension, and all you really need on that is perhaps a sentiment, and you're done. So isn't that lovely? And all that sparked from this one single die, this beautiful poinsettia panel that I thought, it's not going to fit certain sizes, it's, you know, it's tricky to match up and all of these things. We do go negative, don't we? But it works beautifully with that die and then onto the rectangles. I love it. So there we are. So that's our poinsettia. Absolutely gorgeous and available in a bundle at a crazy knockdown price. So I've got another panel ready to go there to start with again. And I might decide to put gilding flakes through that, who knows. You have these options, don't you, with all of Jamie's gorgeous products. But I'm going to put the release paper back over the top of that because it is obviously sticky and I don't want to end up with wearing it on my hand. Okay, so that's the first of our lovely dies that I'm going to show you. And a cheeky sneaky peek of the special die that's going to be available only on Saturday at the Art of Craft. So if you're in that vicinity and you fancy that one, that's where I'll be. If that's not possible for you, and I can hear you going, oh, that's not fair, check out your local stockist because they may have it. As I say, it's not a very old die. I think 2 to 3 years older maybe. So it will still be out and about, and you'll be able to find it. So well worth looking for. Okay, so the next one I wanted to have a look at is the magnolia. I love magnolias. I absolutely adore them. My daughter's actually just brought one home. She bought a tree in a sale for a £5, and it was a magnolia. And it's in a little bucket, and I'm just hoping it's going to survive the winter and come on next spring. It's just going to be lovely. Okay, so here's the magnolia die. Let me show you that one again. Really beautiful, and it will suit itself to lots of different orientations. So that's always nice as well, because you can make it look different just by turning it a different way, can't you? Alright, and then I've cut that out of dark green. Now this is the Foundation's forest green. I don't know if that's one we've got back yet or not, but it's one I absolutely love. It's such a rich dark green. Really love that one. So I've cut my outline in dark green. Okay. Then I want a background for it, and I wanted something with a bit of texture because this die has quite a lot of open space through it, and I thought, well, it'd be nice to have an embossed texture through that. So I've got the little mini hearts stencil. This is one of Jamie's 8x8 stencils, and I'm going to use this to emboss this pattern into a piece of card. So back to our die cutting machine, and I'm going to use my base platform, and I'm going to put the stencil on the base platform before I do anything else. Then I'm going to pop my card and try to get it straight. I mean, you can always trim your card afterwards, but if you get it straight to start with, you won't need to, will you? And then I have a rubber mat. So that goes on next, and that's going to push the card down into the stencil, and then an embossing plate which fits my machine. So your machine will probably have these things, but maybe in a different format. Hopefully by now you've worked it out. So when we take the rubber mat off this, but you can see that that's really deeply embossed. You can see how it pushes it down into the stencil and it pops through the other side. So stencil on first, then your card, then your rubber mat, and then your embossing plate or whatever plates you have, and that will give you this gorgeous little embossed heart pattern. So easy to achieve once you get your head around that platform. So I've got my background with the little hearts and I've got my outline, but what am I going to do, because at the moment it looks a bit strange? I need to infill the flowers. So I decided to go a bit complicated. I do like to make life difficult for myself. So I've got some white card and I've got some double-sided adhesive. I'm going to stick the two together, and then I'm going to actually die cut the panel through this. So I'm not going to put anything on it at this point, although you could make the sheet with gilding flake, with glitter, with mica, with whatever you want, but I don't want to do it that way. Like I say, I like to make life complicated. So I am going to die cut this. I'm going to put the double-sided adhesive facing the die. So when it's cut, the double-sided adhesive will be on the front of the design. Does that make sense? And I'm going to just whiz that through my machine so that you can see that happening. I'll sort my plates out, bear with me. Lost one of my plates. That's not good, is it? Here we are. So I'm going to, as I say, put the double-sided adhesive surface against the die. So when I cut it, that's going to be on the front. Now it might need a couple of passes through the machine. Let's just see how we go. Oh, that's cut really well. So this is card on the back, but here I've got the double-sided adhesive. So we can take this out. And I need to save all the pieces in the flowers. So that's what I want to keep. So I'm going to take the outline off and try to keep everything else in the die. It might not work because it has got a tack to it. But if I can just get the outline out and keep the pieces in the die, then that's going to make life a little bit easier. Or at least most of them. Just helps you to keep track of them. So you might need to just do a little bit of persuading. That's not quite cut. Let me just run that back through the machine again. If you haven't heard us mention this before, when you die cut something, if it's quite intricate, and sometimes when it comes through the machine, it looks sort of slightly cloudy or frosty on the cut lines, and then you know that it hasn't actually cut. When it's cut, the lines will be really sharp and clear. So it's always a good thing to check before you start dismantling the die cut. And if you've got any areas that aren't that clear, then you possibly just need to whiz it through again. And I realised that that's what I needed to do with that one. Okay, let's try again. So I'm just releasing the corners, and then I'm going to try, as I say, to keep all the bits in the die. That's better. It's coming away a bit more cleanly now. And again, you can still tear this. It is only cardstock, so don't be too heavy-handed. And you have got little poking holes to help you release the pattern. it does take a little while because the double-sided adhesive has got such a tack to it that it will hang on, you know, it doesn't like to let go. So you have to kind of persuade it. Make use of those little freeing holes. There we go. I told you I was going to make life complicated for myself. But I quite like a challenge, and sometimes I get these ideas and you know, I have to see it through to the end. I'm like a dog with a bone. I have to do it. Right, so we've got a few bits that have stayed in, but that's okay. I have got now an outline, and I've got one here that I did before, which is clear of all the pieces, and you can see it's still got the protective paper on the adhesive on the front of it. So when I take that off, that outline will be sticky. So I can then put flake or glitter or whatever I want over that, and I've got a separate outline for another card. I'm not using that tonight. There's a tiny piece there of something that I probably need to keep. But I've mainly got the flowers in the die now, which is what I wanted. So I'm going to go back to my embossed heart background and my green outline, and I'm going to glue my green outline down onto my heart background. So I'm only going to glue the outside edge of the frame because, as you've seen, some of these pieces are quite mobile, and if I glue them and then find that the bits that go in the middle won't fit because they've moved slightly, it'll ruin the whole thing. So I don't glue the middle down at this stage at all, and that way I can manipulate it a little bit if I need to, or if something's got a little bit twisted or bent out of shape, I can get it back in the right place. So just the edge, and I find it easier to, which way around do I want this? That's the bottom, right. To put the panel on the frame rather than trying to put the frame on the panel when it's a bit fragile. Make sure you can't see the white panel underneath. And then just give that a minute to tack up. So you see all these bits that are floating about? Well, if they get slightly moved and then you're trying to fit bits back in, it doesn't work. So that's why I don't stick them down at this point. I will do at a later stage, but for now I'm leaving them so that, you know, they're not going to cause a problem. Okay, so now I can start and do my paper piecing, and I'm going to take each piece out of the die, and I'm actually going to glue it in place in the frame. So just a little bit of glue, you don't need loads, and at this point I can glue down the tip of that flower. So I sort of do it all in one stage, if you like. So glue the piece in. This piece, you see it's a different colour than the rest of it. This has still got the protective backing over the sticky sheet. So when I take that off, I will have a sticky petal on my flower. And that's what I wanted, because then I can add whatever I want to my petals. So I know you probably think it's a bit long-winded, this, but I don't mind spending hours doing stuff like this. I like fiddling and faffing and creating, and if you get a beautiful result at the end, why not? You know, why not spend a bit of time just lost in the process? I don't have a problem with that at all. It's very mindful sometimes, and this actually, once you get in a rhythm, it doesn't take very long at all. But I won't do all of this. I have got one I did earlier, you'll be pleased to know. You don't want to sit watching me do this for hours. So just a little bit of glue. Be careful with the glue. You don't need a lot at all. I'm using Jamie's Dry Clear. The more glue you put on, the more likely you are to get bits squeezing out the sides, and also it's going to take longer to dry. More glue isn't always better. Right, now there are some little tiny bits, I would put those in as well. So let's just complete this one flower. So I'm going back to my die and I'm removing the bits I need, and just keep them handy and in the right sort of order. And then a couple of dots of glue is all that's needed in these little panels. You might benefit from some tweezers at this point, just to get those in place. And just make sure they're seated in really well. You don't want them sticking up if you can help it. So again, a little ball tool or something with a flat end on it, and just rub those down into place. And there we are, one flower done, and it's now stuck down, that flower, whereas this is not, but it will be once I start to put the pieces in there. So I hope you can see that, and that made sense. This flower, you can just about make out that that's got different colours going on. Alright, so what am I going to do with it now? Well, I want to glitter it, but I wanted to do a shaded glitter. So this is a little bit more tricky, because I want to do a little bit of pink and the rest white. So I'm going to have to be careful where I put my glitter. So I'm using pink sapphire and I'm using the white. Now if I was doing the whole piece, I would do all the flowers like you've just seen me do, put all the pieces in. Then what you can do is start to release the paper off each piece and reveal the sticky surface. So I thought, oh well, magnolias are pale pink, aren't they, in the centre, and they fade towards the outside of the petals. So that was the kind of look I wanted to try to achieve. So what I need to do now is bring in a tiny bit of pink glitter. So I've now got my flower exposed and it's sticky, and I'm just going to add a little bit of the pink to the base of the flower, not too much, and then shake it off away from the rest of the sticky surface, so it's not going to drag all across that surface. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of pink. Thank you, Hayley. I'm glad you're enjoying it and you're not bored to tears. I do worry sometimes I labour the point too much, but I think sometimes it's important to understand the detail of something. That's how I learn anyway. So I'm going to now fill up the rest of that flower with my white glitter. And I actually sort of sparked this idea when you saw Jamie doing his shaded butterfly the other day, and I thought, oh, I like that. So now I've got a sparkly magnolia shaded pink to white, and I would do all the flowers like that until the whole panel is filled. And I have one I did earlier, and I've also done the leaves in green. Now this one I did my outline in white, and then I decided I didn't like it, it didn't stand out enough, so I wanted a green one to go on top of it. And then I thought, well, I didn't need to do that, I could just use the green one in the first place. So that's how I've developed, and now this second one I've just put the green outline down to start with. So I can put my green one over the top of that now, and I am going to glue most of it down. I'm just going to glue around the edge, and then I'm going to find some of the more solid bits to glue down. But again, you don't need to glue every millimetre of things like this down. they will stay put. As long as they're anchored in certain areas, they're going to be fine. So I just find the more solid bits and go for those. As long as the frame is fixed, that's a nice solid bit there, and there's a solid bit there, and then the tips of the flowers, you don't, you know, like I say, you don't have to do every millimetre. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Just the tips of the flowers is fine, and then the bud, the stem, that sort of thing. Okay. And then just sit that over. So as I say, because I'd done a white frame on this one, and then decided it didn't show up enough. Wasn't showing off the flower well enough. But I really shouldn't have needed to do this extra process. But that said, if you want your frame to look stacked, then by all means, you know, cut two and stack them to give you a much more dimensional kind of finish. So let's just let that glue take. I'll turn it over so I can press it. There we are. So now we have, still floating out of it. Okay, so we've got our shaded flowers in the glitter, and we've got green leaves in glitter, and we've got a heart embossed background to it, which of course now doesn't show through the flowers because they're solid again, so you only see those little hearts in the background. You could have inked those as well, that might have been quite pretty, just to add a little very pale pink hint to those as well. I think it would have taken that quite nicely, but I've left mine just white. So there's my panel, and I'm really pleased with the way this turned out, I have to say. I'm not sure I'd do a lot of them, but I do like it. And then I reached for another older die set, because this is what's good about what we do, isn't it? You can bring out older dies and bring them into what you're doing currently, and I loved this die set when it was out. Is this likely to make a comeback, Jamie, dare I ask? I could be causing ructions here. So this is the stained glass framed rectangle, and it was designed to go with the stained glass collection, or some of them that Sue brought out. But it fits a lot of her other dies as well, and I absolutely love the edge that this one gives with these little slots. So I chose two sizes of that one and cut myself two panels. I've then put red liner tape at the back of the holes and put the same pink glitter through, and I've done the two sizes like that so I can stack them. So let's do that. So I've taken the red liner tape off on this panel and replaced it with a millimetre foam tape. That's off Jamie's gigantic roll, of course, which is fabulous. I've nearly used it all up, Jamie, sorry. I'm going to stack these two together like that. Then I've also got foam on my magnolia panel, and this is going to go on top. And then I had a bit of a dilemma, and I was like, ooh, right, what am I going to mat and layer it with now? Oops. It just fits inside that edge, this die does. It's so perfectly coordinated, look at that. Isn't that just lovely? So that's my stained glass edge. And then I thought, do you know what? It needs another bit of green. I love green and pink together, do you? So I've just cut some more green and left the smallest edge on there. And then onto a white card with a tent fold on this one. And there we are. So it wasn't that bad, was it? I know you didn't see me do every bit, but it's all pretty straightforward. Um, Once you've got the hang of doing this, you don't have to go to those lengths. You could use inks, you could glitter the flower all one colour. It's entirely up to you. But I do like, as I say, a bit of a challenge, and I was so really pleased with the way that came out. I might have to do the rest of the collection. There we are. So that's our fabulous bundle bonanza for this month. I hope that sparked some interest for you, and it's something that you might go out and hunt for, or it might just have been something that you've already got one of, or but they are gorgeous dies, and they are so versatile, as I'm sure you've worked out from all the lovely samples I've been able to show you from the design team and from Sue herself. So that's it from me tonight. I've had a lovely time. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let me just reiterate a few dates for you in case you weren't here at the beginning. So, as you probably know by now, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you again, Jamie is on Hobbymaker tomorrow, Friday, at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. with the stunning new Christmas DL nesting dies, together with some of the original tile dies, tile stamps, stencils. You need to be there. It's going to be an amazing pair of shows. I just wish I could watch it, but I'll have to catch up on it later. Sorry, excuse me, blow my nose. Then on Saturday, I will be showcasing that same collection together with Dice Dot 2, Dice Dot 1, Nesting Panels 1, all sorts of goodies and lots of techniques. Hopefully we're going to have a really fun day. So busy. Monday, Jamie will be back at 7 for his usual slot. I'll be back next Thursday for my usual slot. Makes change, doesn't it? We're on at the right time. So I'll be doing the COG collection. I might get a bit grungy, I might get a bit messy. Quite looking forward to that. I don't know yet, but watch this space. So Thursday at 7, please join me if you can. The bundle bonanza that we've talked about tonight is available from Into Craft, Affordable Crafting and Craftmania. They're the people who've bought this bundle in this format and will have it at that ridiculous price. So the bundle price was $55.96. It's going to be available for $39.99, sorry. So just shy of £40, which is a big saving. So well worth looking out for that. Okay, homework. Let me just remind you of homework. Current homework, #pink. And that runs out on Monday at 5. The new one will commence Monday at 5. Jamie will announce the winners on his live at Monday. The new homework. I like the sound of this one as well. They all sound very exciting. I wish I could join in. #miles. Travel and transport theme. Go to town with the vintage travel collection, with the steampunk airship, whatever you want to do. Any colour scheme, must be DL in size. That's one stipulation, and must feature buttons. Could be real buttons, stamp buttons, die cut buttons, but must feature buttons and some sort of travel or transport. Oh, $34.99. That's even better. That's not what I've got written on my bit of paper. Oh dear. Oh, Catherine, fabulous. I look forward to meeting you. That'll be great. At least there'll be you and me there. Yeah, so, sorry, back to homework. Travel and transport, DL in size, featuring buttons, any colour scheme, whatever you like. Do have a go. Pop it on the Creative Expressions official Facebook group. No judgment. We pick randomly the winner, and you could win a £40 goodie bag for your efforts. So it's just a bit of fun, and it's just lovely for us all to be inspiring each other. People, you might think, oh, I'm not good enough. Everybody's at different levels. You could be the one person who inspires somebody else to have a go. So never think you're not good enough. We're all good enough. We're all, creative brains We just have to get there, and we have to make ourselves have a go, don't we? So please enter, please have a go at our homework. It's a bit of fun, and it's great. It's great to inspire each other. All right, I think that's everything. I haven't seen any questions. I hope I haven't missed anything. If I have, I'm sorry. I've been a bit busy. I am looking forward very much to going to Arts and Craft on Saturday. So if any of you are there, please come say hello. Please do also tune in for Jamie tomorrow. Yes, Hayley, hot air balloon, perfect. Yes, please do tune in for Jamie on Hobby Maker tomorrow, and we'll see you next week on our lives. So, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Lots of love. Bye.